Hi, my name is Rich. You're watching my YouTube channel where I play amazing tabletop role playing games with friends, and I use the he, him pronouns. And we are playing with the Intercontinental group of awesome. I just used the royal we. I don't know where that came from. Uh, the game is Spire, The City Must Fall, and the GM is Tyler. Tyler, take it away.
Oh, thank you very much. Hi there. I am Tyler, and I use he, him pronouns, and we're playing Spire by Grant Howitt and Christopher Taylor. It's a story of a drow city which was conquered by the Alfir, the High Elves, and they have made the drow second-class citizens. But our team, our group, will not stand for this, and they have joined the Ministry, a revolutionary organization that is trying to overthrow the High Elves. They operate in cells with little, in a staggered set with ministers above them, and they're spread out all over the city. But our group doesn't know who they are because these cells are kept very secret. Though they did meet one other minister, sort of. In our adventure, our group has been looking into several problems. One is a drug called Drek, which is absolutely horrible. It seems to be spreading both in the lower parts of the city and in the higher parts of the city. Our group has determined that it is a demonological drug distilled from sulfur, which is a byproduct of pure demonology. And this drug is causing terrible things. People on it become cruel. They become horribly addicted, and they also have a habit of like constructing weird things or building strange objects. But all of this, they've determined, is coming from on high with some purpose. This flooding of the market, this drug is being used to fuel something. Along with that, there is a serial killer called the Swan who has been attacking people, killing them, but not only killing them, like desecrating the corpse in strange and horrible ways, and removing organs, in particular hearts, quite a bit, but leaving them in kind of poses and in weird ways. And this is also happening both high and low. And our group has determined it has something to do with the Drek. In particular, not long ago, a couple of sessions ago, a minister was found that they were supposed to meet who was investigating the Drek, and the Swan had already done his work to poor Minister Gulag. Some clues were found, though. The body was taken down last session and brought back by Gerald through the sewers in a rather kind of difficult and dangerous mission. He hauled that corpse back while Bizarre and our knight, who I should know their name, but since he's not here, I don't see it.
Sorden.
There we go. Talked to the police, who seemed to have been tipped off to show up just as the group was getting there. And I believe Gerald had actually seen some lurkers of the street who had been left to watch so that they could run off and tell the police just as soon as someone came. Once the body was brought back, some investigation was done, some picking up of clues. There had been a list of 3 names that seemed that the minister had on them. Perhaps, and we won't say perhaps, seems like these were names of having to do with the Drek, and probably something that was part of this meeting. He was supposed to be helping our group in the Drek thing. So these might have been clues he was planning to pass off. Also saw that scrawled behind his body was the artistic "No minister shall talk to me" in his blood, implying that the Swan knew both of the ministry and of this man's pursuit of him and it. But all of this was cleaned away as quickly as possible. And when the body was examined and then taken to have final rites performed on him, Aramitz and Finara had a vision. They saw in the silvery light of our glorious mother an image of a female, we think, hard to tell for certain, but seemed feminine. Alfir in a golden mask with a veil across the top of it, with that heart, his heart. And around her were hundreds, if not maybe thousands, of demonic spirits. And that had been this sort of vision we had seen as she was doing works of a demonological, kind of the techno-demonic works upon the heart. We've had clues to say that this work has to do with eidolons, which are physical representations of demonic power. Aramitz had figured that out at some point, putting these demons into eidolons, then having these eidolons be refined and worked into maybe something larger, some sort of great big project that's coming from that. And I think that, oh, and we also ended last time with seeing a new figure coming into our little lower levels, Father Callus, who came to pick up the body for its for its disposal. It was going to be cremated. And he informed Aramitz that he was here because he had been a bit zealous up higher in the Morticians Guild in his pursuit of sin. But he told Aramitz not to worry. He knew how to find sin. And that is where we're going to get started. But first, why don't we, well, first I'll say we have some safety tools on the table. We use lines and veils, and we have the X card. Our players are aware of those. I urge everybody, use safety tools. It really does make your game better. But let's go ahead and have our people introduce themselves. I'm just going to kind of do it around counterclockwise on my screen. And so we already know who you are, Rich. So why don't you tell us about your character?
Of course. I am playing Lajan, which is a drow priest of Limier, the night mistress, the goddess of the moon. And his name is Aramitz. And Aramitz is probably not the best spy, but he definitely believes in the cause, and hopefully that'll make up for it. That's Aramitz.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Alex, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us about your character?
Hi, I'm Alex. I use he, him, and I am playing Gerald, who also uses he, him. And he is kind of an official leader of the cell, and spent his durance as a spy for one of the houses lords. And I think because of that, he seems to be the focus of the masked god. And all he has to do to gain more favor with the masked god is go into a dark cellar that I'm sure doesn't hold any dark secrets of his past, and open a door and let somebody out. Something. So it's gonna be fine.
Awesome. Thank you very, very much. Sabine, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us about your character?
Yeah, hi, my name is Sabine. I use any pronouns, and I'm playing Vizar, who uses he, him pronouns, or occasionally they, if they feel the mood. Vizar is an inksmith, means that he is a reporter, writer, poet, what have you. He is also part of the Grey Manor Detectives, and he has recently released an article about some corruption going on with food being poisoned or mixed up with really unhealthy stuff. So yeah, that is nice. He also has been accompanied recently by Sordin and Sordin's apprentice, who Gerald told them to look after Vizar, despite Vizar's protests that no, he didn't need a babysitter. and he will ditch him this episode. So yay!
Yeah, I guess by sad consequence of y'all not being here,
Yes,
that is
but-
probably true.
Yeah, I would have asked to let me ditch him anyway, because as a player, I don't really enjoy this being forced to have a bodyguard.
And next up, and last but not least, by certain, Jen, introduce yourself and tell us about your character.
Hey there, I'm Jen. I use the she, her pronouns. I am playing Fanara, who is a Azurite. She uses she, her pronouns as well. She's a wheeler, a dealer, a merchant. Somebody who has her finger on the pulse of commerce. And unfortunately, that pulse has been quavering with all of this direct trade. And so she's been doing her part to try and get to the bottom of where it's coming from, where it's going, how it could be stopped.
Awesome. Thank you very, very much. And so let's, I'm going to kind of throw out here a little bit of the threads we have on the table. And because we're in a moment where, you know, we aren't in medias res of a something at the moment. So we can kind of play with where we want to go with threads. Fanara, you had just had a meeting with an old friend and family member, I believe, who had kind of given you some more information on how the Drek and some of the to do with its moving and the dangers of investigating into it too far, and had been more than willing to help you with this. We had also heard, and you had a meeting with Soren with the underworld, the sons of one of the kingpins, who had told you that they would be willing to get you to Perch, Lower Perch in particular, which is where we've been hearing some things are coming in where this Drek is being shipped out of. And they could do it, get you in there quietly, unseen, and help you, get in there where you could investigate if that's what you wanted. So we have a thread kind of going to Perch where we know the Drek is, to some extent. I think also your cousin mentioned a lady a drow, but who very much acts like tries to be an Elfir, who had talked about the Drek with him, even though she had, as far as he knew, always been vehemently opposed to drugs. And you had been given that name, which was Farida Steries, sorry. And that he had just, he had put her name in there as someone, it was a little odd, someone who seems to be all mixed up in this. We also had that with the minister Gulag having died, that you yourself was the last ones who were supposed to meet with him. He's now disappeared, and while you have taken away the evidence of his death, you have yet to talk to anyone higher up in the ministry about it. Whether or not I think we had talked about that there might be some danger to your own minister, Makareth, if you did, but deciding, when or if you want to spread that knowledge a little bit more, is a thread on the table. We know that the Swan is, at the very least, aware that the ministry is looking into his activities. His message, the killing of someone who was directly looking into it, will let you kind of know that something's up with that. One also has to guess that Gulag had cells of his own that he was minister for. They may be looking for stuff going on with his disappearance. So there are people probably who are going to miss him. We know that there are gnolls who are creating this Drek. Not sure exactly where, but they are the ones who were involved in creating it, and we have to think are also then involved in that Eidolon creation that seems to be married together somehow. And then finally, with the names we were given, we have a chance there with Sebastian, Lorelei, and Kresh. So we have some names to kind of go look into, that we could try and find out something about, which may lead us towards the Swan. So with all of that in mind, I think we had everyone separate. They had done their, we'd had the ceremony, people had split off, we'd had the discussions. We're looking at a new day. And I'm going to start Vizier. Bizarre, I want to ask, do you, and this is kind of meta, but do you want it to be that you like lose Sordin and Thorza, or are they called away?
I think let's leave it in the air until Jan is back, and we just say Bizarre is on his own now. Why?
Okay.
We could then clear up with Jan, because I feel that he probably wants to say something to that.
Okay, all right, that's perfectly fine. And you're right, Alex put in here, yes, we did have a little teaser of Gerald climbing through a window in a mansion up on high.
Okay.
Which, if anyone who's interested, if somebody felt like Gerald was maybe off to do something stupid or need to be watched and they decided to follow him, that's cool.
No, Gerald is the one who is never doing anything stupid, right?
Yeah,
He's always the one who's.
Last...
That would be a weird thing. Oh, I need to follow him in case he does something stupid. That is maybe Sordin. That's maybe Bizarre.
Or if Bizarre needed to tell and announce anything.
Oh yeah, I think I kind of want to talk to him about this whole Sordin thing. Yeah, I feel that is a good. That would work. Yeah.
You like that hook then? Okay. Why don't we see a bit of that then? So it sounds like then, Bizarre, you went to find Gerald.
Yeah.
And I think you find, Gerald seems to be acting a little on the cagey side of when you see him at a distance. You see him heading up Spire. And you begin following. And I think then it would be, as you see because this is probably up tip top of Spire. This is like Amaranth or New Tintanjil, where the mansions of the Elfir are. You see Gerald head towards one of these mansions and around a side passage. You've tried to keep your pace up, but Gerald seemed to keep ahead of you, or you'd lose sight of him and then catch sight of him a bit further ahead. He's a sneaky guy. But you see him heading down this alleyway. Now, this is getting towards dangerous stuff, Bizarre. If he's heading onto towards an Elfir's home, this could be a little dangerous. What are you going to do? Are you going to follow him even there?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I'm not breaking in if he's doing that. I'm not sneaky enough for that. But I am following him. I want to know what's going on here. This should be a good story, right? I mean, anything for the story.
Anything for the story.
Yeah, because I mean, if I can't follow him inside, I can at least go and find out whose house this is and what's going on here. Anyway.
All right, then Alex, we know that Gerald has reached this window. Is it an upper window or is it like a lower window going to a basement? You are muted, my love.
I think it's like a kind of quite a wide, narrow, well, not narrow, the other direction.
Short.
But well, short window, but wide, big enough for somebody to kind of get through, but quite low to the ground, not designed for letting lots of light in.
Okay. And as you've jimmied this easily and are down to slide through, that's where Bizarre, you come around the corner. You could see Gerald is sliding through this window. What do you do?
Oh, I'm leaving him to slide through whatever window he wants to. I mean, this is clearly out of quite out of my league, I guess. But as I said, I want to know more about this place where he slides through a window. Why, anyway?
All right. So
Didn't tell any of us that he was sliding through windows and new tier turn gear or something. So.
Are you going to the window to look in, or are you going around to the house to kind of figure out what the house is?
I'm going to find someone I can talk to, right? Because I'm talking is fine. Talking to people I'm good at. And maybe I have a nose for trouble. If I can find what's out of place, I can find the story. So maybe I can find a person that's out of place here, besides me.
Okay.
Because I'm pretty much out of place here, and I'm rather aware of it. I mean, I wear the kind of the finest clothing I can afford, which means like nothing.
But and you wear no mask, correct?
Probably. I guess I wear glasses. That doesn't count as a mask, right?
No. But right, you're not doing the high elf sort of thing of wearing a mask. No. All right. You come back.
Not.
You come back around, and so that I have a better idea of what's going on, Gerald, you slid through this window. Where are we?
This is definitely the mansion where I did my endurance.
Excellent. And is this the cellar where we saw
I'm
that
heading to the cellar in this building, yeah.
Okay.
I guess this is down to this kind of servants.
All right.
Floor quarters.
But you say this is where you served your durance. So this is actually the home of, or a home of your old master?
Yeah. I think it's one of his homes. So he may be here.
And this is who refracts endlessly outwards?
I believe that, yes.
Yes, okay. I'm going to say, since this is where you were trained into your, that cellar is somewhere, correct, that you kind of trained into your ministry work, right? Was that why you were put there? Or was it not? Was it that you were placed there as a punishment by Refracted?
I think during my durance, I may have had a knack for stealth theft. I may have attempted to steal something and was caught, and then was punished / trained to expand on that. That's the abuse.
As you come into this basement area, there are the normal boxes and bric-a-brac of a basement. But as you go further, you see the failed sculptures, the broken sculptures your master would sometimes have of the servants turned to stone, and those he disliked would be sent to storage. And so here in the darkness, there are figures standing in various looks of horror, some of whom pieces have been broken off of. They weren't handled gently. It's almost as though in their anguish, standing there, you could still hear their voices. But it is deathly quiet here. As you move deeper in, down a set of stairs to that lowest cellar, you have to open a heavy door that is bolted. You remember the sounds of those bolts slamming shut.
Out of my bag, I take out a dark mask that has no mouth. Place it against my face. It has like a grip I have to bite into to hold it against my face. And the silence just spreads from that mask. Yeah, the mouthless mask, which is.
As you enter into that dark room, you can almost feel. Now, this is not the mask that was given to you by the mask god, is it?
No.
Is that on you?
That is on me, yes, but I'm not wearing it.
You can almost feel a heat and a vibration from it inside of your cloak. You are near.
Is it a door I remember? This door that I need to open?
I think so. I think when you were imprisoned here, there was almost the creeping part of the fear of being down here was what was on the other side. Was there greater punishments there? Or was there something that could come out and get you?
I
That
think it
sort of
was an
feeling.
unspoken punishment. I have heard sounds on the other side of that door. It's never been open to my knowledge.
Excellent. You come up to the door, and we're going to cut to the front of the mansion where we have Vizar. You've got a nose for trouble, and as you're coming around, you see an attractive young drow woman who is clearly running errands. She wears a livery of a house. You probably don't recognize the house, but she's on errands for one of these houses. But as she moves past this particular mansion, you see her make a motion as though calling for the glorious lady to protect her from it. And as she moves past.
Interesting. I'll run into her.
Oh, excuse me, sir.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I didn't watch where I was going. Let me help you pick that up.
Oh, well, thank you very much. I was, she kind of glances over her shoulder towards the house. I tried to run as quickly as possible past this doorstep.
What, whose house is this?
Oh,
Come tell me a little about this and we'll go and I'll look out for you. So you
well,
don't run into other ruffians out here. And I smile at her.
Thank you. She smiles back. That is the home of who reflects endlessly outwards. Well, he does not stay there often. It is said to be haunted by many drow.
Oh, interesting. I mean, I'm sorry. The side, I'm not often up here and haunted. Is he that cruel? Do many accidents happen?
Well, yes, he is. It is said that he will solidify the souls of Drow into a vessel so that they must endlessly scream in torments.
That sounds highly illegal somehow. But
He is powerful.
yes, of course. Well, thank you for the information you've given me. That is very much appreciated. As I said, I haven't been up here. I was just kind of wondered how the upper class lives.
Oh, well, they live upon the backs of us all.
Yeah, well, yeah. Mostly, I'm just researching for some stories I'm writing, and I need a.
You're
mention.
a writer?
Oh yes, I am Vizar. Maybe you've probably never heard of me, right? But yeah, I write penny things.
Oh, I think I have heard of you.
Oh, nice.
You wrote The Legend of the Crimson Mask, right?
I did. Yes, that was that was me.
It kept me from sleep for night upon night, but I couldn't put it down.
Well, that's what it was meant to do, actually.
Well, I have to say, while I am not one who, well, I'm timid at heart, but I do love a little bit of a scare. It's honestly why I take this way so often. There's a certain thrill in rushing past the doorstep, and I have on occasion. She leans in close. I've heard the ghosts.
Ghosts. Well, is there a certain spot where I can? I mean, I'm researching for my next project. So can you tell me where I would need to stand to hear them?
She kind of conspiratorially draws you over to a side where you kind of get an angled look where the house has a corner so you could see windows down one side and windows down the other. And as she points to a window, certain times when the wind blows just right, the curtains will twitch, and behind it, I swear I've seen the ghosts. The two of you look up there, but the curtains don't seem to be twitching at the moment.
That's not the window Daryl.
No, this is higher up in the house.
Okay. Fine. Great. Okay. So I will exchange more pleasantries with the girl. And then when she's gone, I want to tap into the zeitgeist of the community, become the embodiment of their fears. Actually, I'm mostly interested in what the embodiment of their fears would look like. I'm not trying to do it right now because, I'm up here. I'm not trying, but I want to know what it is,
Okay. All right. Let me read. I'm reading through your thing there. Happen to the zeitgeist becoming the embodiment of their worst fears. Cast it to determine what people are scared of around these parts and channel it into yourself. When you embody that fear with your acts, clothing, or speech, roll with mastery against the people of the district until they end the current situation. Ooh, that's interesting.
Yeah, right. I don't have to act in that manner, but and I'm rolling d10s. I cannot forget that again.
It is important.
I'm very much cured of trying. So this is investigate an occult, I guess.
That's correct.
Is there any way to get more dice? I forget the rules. You have a skill, domain. If you have mastery, I don't. Blah blah blah. Okay. I'm just rolling. You know what?
You're rolling 3 total.
I'm rolling 3, right? I forgot that I get 1. Yes.
1 for free and 1 for each of.
Yes,
If you have
okay.
investigated, you have occult.
Yeah, I do. That's an 8.
Got an 8. Very good. So no stress, and you managed to pull it off. As you feel the fear of this place. There is first the fear of those drow who work here, which is the fear of punishment, the fear of the Elfir above them, the fear of where this once was a drow place and now has been taken from them. There's all of that fear that comes in. Then there's the fear of the Alfir who live here that sort of comes to you. The fear of humiliation, the fear of loss of power, loss of face, and this overriding fear of the ending of death.
Nice.
And we will switch from there. Fanara, where are we finding you, my dear?
Well, let's see. I had that meeting with Hatchell in the morning. I think after getting those updates from him, I don't have any reason to believe that our dead drop is compromised. So I think I'd leave a note saying, progress made, want to talk about it, and then probably putter off to either Aramitz's chapel or off to my stall in the market to do, my job, I guess.
Okay. Well, let's ask Aramitz, what are you doing?
I was actually thinking he would want to return to the chapel. So I think that might be a cool place for the two of us to catch up.
Sounds good then. So why don't we have Fanara? You've made your way to the chapel.
Open the door, furtive looks around.
And I think you see the scaffolding is up on the inside from the new project, and a good bit of stuff has been kind of scoped out. I imagine she does outlines and then fills in pieces, though I'm not an artist. That's just how I imagine it happens.
Depends. I mean, when you're doing scale like that. There's lots of different ways. I've never seen a mural artist do a grid, but that's one way to do it. Anyway, yeah, I'll putter around and admire whatever's in progress here. Just go, huh?
Do you think, asking GM, do you think that Yvette is there working or has left for the day?
Since we're talking morning, I don't think she's awake yet.
That's
she
true.
works through the night. Yeah.
She's home right now. She's asleep.
Yeah.
That's right. She's at her studio / house. So yeah, as you're checking things out, I think it would not be long before Aramitz would come out.
Oh,
Fanara. Fanara, it's good to see you. Welcome.
See, you're working on improvements.
Well, I have been blessed with one of the parishioners being a fantastically talented artist, and it pains me because I know every single bit of money should go to those unfortunate, but I also feel that Limier's light should inspire. So I made the hard decision of commissioning an artist, but I did get the church a very good deal.
Excellent, excellent. Well,
What brings you
Don't-
here?
live by mushrooms alone, so this is fine.
True. We don't.
Well, you remember when I told you yesterday that I would be meeting with a friend of mine to discuss some of our problems?
Yes.
Some interesting points have arisen in that discussion, and I wondered if you want to go over it with me. So I'm fairly certain that if I have a watch, I definitely check it in character. I don't know if watches are a thing in this setting.
Oh, totally. I think
Yeah.
like the steampunky vibe means there's got to be some of that.
Yeah, it's like 2 or 3 hour glasses. Don't ask how gravity is supposed to work on them. I'm like, Sorden has probably just gone to sleep, and I'm not sure what. I wouldn't wake up Gerald right now. He was having a little too much adventure yesterday. And Vizar, well, probably can't reach him because I probably can't reach Sorden. So you're the first.
Good. Fortune has worked out in my favor.
Well, do we have any place private to have our discussion?
Of course. I gesture and lead back to that same place where I shared a few drinks with Bizarre during his confessions. Would you like something to drink?
Oh, what have you got?
No. Nothing that is worthy of your fine tastes, but some house wine that we use for various ceremonies that I nip on the side from time to time. Here, I'll pour you some. After the second glass, I'm sure that it will taste just fine.
Could you water mine, please? It's early.
Of course.
I have a full day ahead of me.
So he has a pitcher of water and then the bottle of wine, and he mixes it up with a plum and brings you the glass. Has a seat. Probably at like the edge of his desk kind of thing, like he doesn't sit in a chair.
Like the cool counselor.
Yeah, totally. Like the cool counselor.
Yep. So I'll lean back in the chair given me and say, well, I've spoken with my friend. Normally he moves Malik, and deals in other things on the side. He's a lot like myself, but with a few more risky items in his portfolio, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And he passed along to me that someone named Farida Staris asked him if he wanted to start moving Drac. He turned her down, naturally.
Smart.
Otherwise, I'd have to give him an ear pulling that he wouldn't soon forget. But Farida, if you're unfamiliar, as am I, is apparently a very fancy young drow. Really, really wants to pass as Alfir. Doesn't normally even like drugs. Formerly, she was a champion against them. But now she's here pushing an opportunity for trading in Drek to a friend of mine who's normally in the market for other things. So that's a fun point. The first, my read on the situation is that she's a little poser who was given a scrap by somebody that she barks after. But once I floated some of the names from Gulag, Kresh came up a winner. He's worked with Kresh. And he's gotten Kresh some items for machines and devices from the south. Kresh was apparently basically a chieftain or some other high-ranking individual among the Knolls, but he was brought here as a prisoner to the Alfir. some Elfir in the Heaven Layer signed for Kresh. Somebody who quite possibly, say, has a lab. Whatever that situation looks like, my friend has a shipment going to Kresh soon. And he'll tell me with a day's notice when it's arrived, of course. When something comes off of the whale, you have to wait for it to be plucked by the birdmen. You have to take inventory, you have to verify it, then you have to get paperwork back. So
I see.
the day's notice is plausible, is what I'm trying to communicate. So that's what I've found out. Have you been able to perform any research since then, or have you been managing beautification?
So I'm just out of character. The last thing that Aramis has done was the vision that we had shared.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think Aramis has done jack along those lines.
You passed off the body and then it's the next morning. So
you had that creepy scene with Father Callus.
Yes. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, Fanar, I'm not quite as industrious as you, though in my defense, I think few are. That said, was able to dispose of the corpse, and in so doing, ran into a father by the name of Callus, who is well named, was recently sent down from Spire because of his obsession with hunting down sin. I'm not sure how he's involved in all of this, but
who's his primary deity? What does he think of as sin?
Is he wearing, like, is he of Limier? Is he of my order, or was that unclear?
It's unclear if he's part of the Morticians Guild. They are they have multiple faiths they follow, but the guild itself sort of is supposed to be above that. They tend to anyone, but they, as you know, the Morticians Guild, they very firmly believe in the sanctity of death. Those that would avoid death is supposed to be bad, though the rumors are that they also have the means to give the undying, which is what high elves do, to live forever.
But in short, he's calling himself a father, which maybe flies in the face of the Morticians Guild.
It does.
Yeah, interesting.
I have to admit that I've never taken an interest because another admission, I don't necessarily want to handle my own death affairs in this city. My only lack of industriousness.
I'm sure it can be forgiven. Father Callus does mystify me a bit. I'm not sure if the title is as I would expect, but he did speak very happily about rooting out and finding sin and how he was sent below. So it may be a completely different thread from a different yarn, but that is the most noteworthy thing that's happened to me since last we spoke.
I'll keep an ear pointed upwards, I guess. Well, hopefully by around lunchtime, we'll be able to get the whole clique together.
Hopefully. Is there anything that I can do to assist you, Fanar?
Not really. At this point, I think that the best I could do is continue searching up leads on those names, but that's about all that I've got until we need to make a decision about what our moves will be. Next, we have a lead in to Perch, and we have a lead in to Crash. So we just need to decide how we're going to use it and why.
Of course, we still need to come to a decision about what we share with our minister.
We should probably warn her at the very least. I wouldn't be against that. She almost certainly already knows that Gulag is gone.
Mm-hmm.
And if what we pass on to her first is, a warning, hopefully that will look better than we didn't do it.
Yes.
Although, of course, we didn't do it.
Of course. I've taken my fears and concerns to Lemier's feet because my first thought was she sent us to Gulag. What if we were supposed to be caught? But I feel that is a cowardly way, and I also feel she would not have done that. Right? Makarith has dealt with us directly, and I feel that if she saw us as a threat, this is not the steps she would take.
Oh, agreed. It isn't that I distrust Makarith. It's that I am uncertain of the stability of her position. Is she surrounded by friends right now? That I don't know. That's the thing that brings me caution. Did Gulag die because somebody in Makarith's circle compromised it?
It troubles my heart to think that one of the ministry's great enemies are Drow.
I think we might. That seems like a good end outline.
Sure.
Solid.
Why don't we figure? I'll hit back with Gerald's discovery, see how bizarre and that might come together, and then we'll try and bring everybody together as a group. But why don't we go ahead and take a few minutes? And why don't we do 7? Come back at 5 after. All righty, we're back. I think I'm going to go real quick with you, Vazar, just kind of a interspersed scene here just for a moment. Were you staying there kind of watching the house, or were you moving off?
No, I was staying there. I mean, I don't know what Jared's doing there, but do I know that refracted thingy is your Durance guy, Gerald?
I think Gerald is usually fairly cagey with information.
Yeah.
But
okay.
I can also see that being something he would have at least shared in passing without going into detail.
Yeah, I mean, Bizarre is not that bad at squirreling out information anyway.
Yeah.
So I think it's fair to say you probably know.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I'm hanging around. Just, I mean, this didn't look like he was going in there by invitation. So I think I might stick around and then see what I could drum up distraction-wise if that was necessary.
All right.
And also if I could catch him and be the cool guy who says, "Hey, I saw what you did here. Did you see a ghost?" And kind of scare him a little. I mean,
I think then, as you're kind of, staying a little off the side, probably close to where you'd spoken with this young lady before, looking up at one of those windows, you do in fact see a breeze enough for the curtain to twitch. For just a moment, you see a figure in the window, alabaster white, its mouth open in a scream.
Yeah, great. I'm scaring myself.
And then the curtain falls back over.
This is good material.
And down below in the basement, have you brought out the key, Gerald?
Yes. I think I first kind of just touch a hand to like the shoulder of one of the statues as I'm passing by the door, and just like on my head slightly.
It's cold, but there's a kinship, perhaps. As you near the door, that cold seems to build. As you come up to it and put your hand to it, it is noticeably cold.
I take the key and I put it in. I don't turn it straight away.
As you slide it in, you hear almost that kind of cracking sound of frost or ice breaking.
I'll let go of the key for a second. Am I definitely alone down here? Like, there's no servants, no.
You and the statues.
Deep breath. I turn the key.
There's a cracking again of ice, and then a chunk as the lock turns. You push, and there's that kind of crack of ice on the other side of the door as it slides open. When it does, a mist flows out along the floor, and it is many degrees colder in there. A shiver comes across you. There's
Once the door settles, I take off the mask.
There's a dim bluish light within. And as you push to where you can see, it is a small room. You can hear a light humming. And when you look in, you see not a block, but like a cut oval of ice, inside of which is a drow woman, naked, save for a mask. Beside the block of ice, there's a machine that you could see pumping something into the base of this block. And you hear a whisper at your ear. Isn't she lovely, Gerald?
Open the door. What do you want?
She was the first to call to me, Gerald. and they took her from me. Bring her back.
I looked at the machinery that's pumping cold air or
Looking this over, you recognize that she has been encased in Everice, something of the Elfir from their homeland to the north. They bring it here, in fact, to keep the higher parts of the Spire cold to their temperature. You've heard rumors that Elfir, when they get near death, will have themselves frozen. That inside of the Everice, it is as though time stops, and that they can be defrosted and brought out for special occasions.
I've never heard it used on drow. I think I've got warring instincts. Like this is a bad place. This is bad stuff. I should leave, but I've done this far. I try to deactivate or switch off this thing.
You go over to the machine and working, it is very easily intuitive, basically an on and off to it. You are able to, and the humming stops. The base below where it was giving off this blue begins to give off a light pink to red glow. It will take her several days, Gerald, and she will not know of the time that has passed. But she called me first, and I cannot abandon her to this.
I glance out at the statues. Kinship in the anger. As much as the masked god freaked me out, I regret doing its bidding, and conflicted.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that, and it's this shouldn't be done. Yeah, you can move on.
You are right. Would you have me end their suffering, Gerald?
Can they not be saved? Died like her.
The works of the Alfir can only be ended by the Alfir. I can take them home, but I cannot free them here.
It's been too long.
Very well, Gerald. And you feel this sort of, it's not a compulsion. It is like a guiding for you to walk up and touch them. Do you follow it?
Yes.
And in almost a mirror of where you placed your hand on the shoulder before, as you place your hand on it again, it begins to turn to dust beneath your palm. It's spread across the statue as it drops. And you can hear almost a sigh as the dust falls, and you find yourself moving through, touching more and more as the dust falling, the sounds of these voices in release, this sort of moment. And across the floor, it is covered in this white, almost like snowbanks, the cold air and the mist swirling around it. And then you find yourself at the end of this basement, all of them reduced. You're exhausted. And you feel that kind of presence within you withdraw. You have done good work, Gerald. None of us should be their prisoners.
No.
Return in 2 days. Bring her back to the light.
Okay.
I think we see that scene end. Perhaps as you close the door back. And we'll have you, I'm guessing you go back out the way you came.
Yeah.
Bizarre, you see Gerald return back up that alley. How do you look, Gerald? I'm guessing you're not trying to attract attention, but
No.
what is the look that Bizarre sees?
I put on a mask of, like, I put on one of my sister's masks. I'm not looking like a high elf, but I'm looking like a drow that wouldn't be out of place here, though I've not really embodied the mannerisms that much. I'm distracted.
Bizarre, what do? You see Gerald come out, maybe looking a little distracted. You could tell by the clothes, probably, that it is Gerald more than, it's a different mask. But you know Gerald very well. I imagine you might know his gait.
Also, he came out of a window.
Well, no, you were off from there. You saw him come out that same alley, though. So yeah,
Oh, okay.
You would have. Yeah.
Okay. Fine. Yeah. I think I'm going over, and I think for a moment you can almost see that there is, their light strikes strangely, right? When this figure comes out of the shadow, and for a moment you think that might be an elf here, here to punish you. But of course, when he steps into the light, you can see it's only dear old Bizarre.
In my distraction, I just see the figure coming in suddenly in front of me, and I grab you, push you against the wall, knife to your throat.
And I will look at you a little startled, and I say, well,
Sorry.
that is very violent. Didn't. You look a little spooked here.
You know, this place is haunted.
Yeah. I mean, I know now.
We shouldn't stay.
Okay. I guess.
Just gesture to kind of more of the kind of slightly shadowed streets.
The two of you carry on out of Amaranth.
Yeah, I will say to you, I won't ask you what you are doing there. You know, I'm curious, and if you want to talk about it, I mean, go right ahead. But I know that you like to keep your stuff close to your chest.
Thank you. Bye. I
Sorry,
touch your
didn't.
his hand for a second.
Damn it. But he says it loudly. Okay.
Are you okay?
Oh yeah. I'm fine. I'm fine. Everything's very fine. You know, sometimes.
Have I offended you?
No, maybe a little.
What?
I can look after myself, Gerald. I don't need a bodyguard.
Oh, that's yeah, I mean, I know you're capable, but
Yet didn't feel that way when Sordin was trailing after me and refused to step away when I told him I wanted some privacy.
Maybe should have given him further guidance on that. It's not the list tool in our arsenal.
Can you speak up a little because I have a hard time understanding
sorry.
you? Sorry.
Apologies. He's obviously not the subtlest tool in our arsenal. I could have given him further guidance.
No, you could have trusted me.
And that's. I do. I was just. After that Swan business, I was unnerved. And
Yeah, that was a little unnerving. Speaking about unnerving, I don't know how to tell you this, and you probably don't want to hear it, but okay. And in my thoughts, I'm saying, okay, Aramitz, this is on you. And I say, okay, you know, Gerald, that I really think the world of you, right? You know that you've read my stories, and I know you don't care, but I just wanted to say it. So yeah, it's out there. Fine, you can make a snarky comment now, please. Break my heart. It's fine.
What are you saying?
You've read my stories. I mean, there is a pretty. Damn it.
I've read your investigations.
Oh.
I mean, they seem well written stories, but they aren't. I don't need anyone's.
Okay, now I've made even more of a fool of myself. It's fine, which is fine. There is a character in there. He's based a little on you, and it's gosh, it's
you.
kind of a character. I think. I mean, if you had read them, you would know that I think you're very attractive.
Oh,
And cool
uh,
and admirable.
thank you.
Come on, Gerald, you're a spy. You know what I'm saying here, right?
I apologize. This is just this has not been the most easy evening.
Considering that it's morning, yeah, it's not.
Yeah, I look at the lights starting to come in into the tower.
And it is bright up here in Amaranth. They make sure they reflect the sun. So even as you're here, it is uncomfortable and your eyes do hurt.
Sunglasses. But I guess, okay, this is a lot, and I'll step back. It's fine. It's fine.
I've just, this is not something I've contemplated for a while. What with the ministry and how we can end up. It's not something I want to bring to other people that I care about. If you're here already, we should get a drink.
Sorry, I didn't catch it.
We should get a drink.
Oh, yeah. I mean, sure. I guess. Yeah. Yeah. Get a drink. Fine. Fine. Great idea. Let's do that. Right now, or
Yes.
Okay.
It's but not one of Zordin's.
yeah. I mean, I snuck out on him, and I feel that, yeah.
We should have privacy.
Oh, okay. Yes, there is a very nice coffee house. I mean, you drink coffee, right? Or do you want something?
I know of a better place.
Okay.
And
I'll
I
follow.
think I'm leading to I imagine that maybe they have, the Elfia have like mansions that offer different seasons depending on which side of the tower they want to be on, maybe.
That sounds good.
I imagine there's a summer mansion for one of that is in it now, or whatever the opposite season it is. So something, like, I know the place, and I will lead us to a mansion that will be empty in this season.
We
That's
see the
exciting.
two of you walk together off towards this place as our camera will pan back to the house as you're leaving, and up on that second story window, the wind catches the curtain as we see that screaming image crumbling to dust and the dust floating out into the breeze. Well, That was lovely. That was just grand. Do we want to have us all get together? Do we want to take as a do y'all want a scene of the two of you drinking, or do we want to take that as read and or do we want to have like an impression or have that as a flashback somewhere later along?
Maybe a flashback later on, but I assume that when we meet up, we would be happy.
Yeah, but that would
Would be,
depend on
yeah.
Gerald, but
there will be less tension between us.
Yeah.
Lovely. Okay, excellent.
So you
Then,
didn't break my heart. Okay.
No, your heart. I don't think. Well, yeah. He's not intending to break your heart.
Yet.
So, with that said, I think we find ourselves together. I will ask, Aramis, where do we find everybody together as we jump to the afternoon?
Great question. Like, I think the Kraken Bell, it just feels like the place that we always gather. So that's my first instinct. I know we don't want to overdo Zordon related stuff, but
If it
I
ain't
think we can
broke.
work around it. Yeah.
All right. Then we'll have everybody meeting up at the Kraken Bell, probably to go and look for Zordon, who we hadn't seen so far today. And I think, excuse me, you find yourselves at a table, and I'm going to say for the moment, Zordon is not there. If asked about, I think that his fellow knights will say that he's on a mission. We're going to call it that. I'll work something up with you on then. But they have given you
a euphemism for leaving it off.
Yeah, it can be all sorts of things. So
Means what it needs to mean.
So the four of you are together. 5 of you, I believe, if we have Goliset there, and you can have a bit of a talk here on what you'd like to do. I will again kind of to push us along just a touch, remind us that we have things on the table, that we have the perch, whether we want to tell Macareth stuff going on, we have a few things that we could be actionable upon. So, sitting around the table, drinks in front of you, a raucous crowd around, which gives you the sort of privacy of noise.
I think it would be wise if we speak with Macareth sooner rather than later. The longer we put it off, the more she may be inclined to assume our guilt.
Yeah, seems like a reasonable idea.
I agree with,
And the longer we put it off, the more she's in danger herself.
the more we would be in danger, potentially.
Yes.
Danger's really mutual. So, very well.
Message in the dead drop. He wants to meet.
Well, encouraging a meet might be the wrong option, but at the very least, updating her, warning her.
I think that's the right play.
Mm.
All right. Vizar, do you quickly write up a coded message to deliver this information?
Yeah.
Okay.
We will tell her, right, that we found Gulag murdered by the Swan. Have some clues. We'll investigate. She wants to give us guidance. Yeah.
Give a
She
warning
can.
to her. I'm asking also kind of give a "we're worried about you" sort of warning as well. Is that in there?
Yes, that's
Okay.
Considering the timing of Gulag's death,
Yeah.
it's possible that somebody in the ministry is compromised.
Yeah. Okay.
I would double code that. I would say it, but I'd say it in some shitty metaphor.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I can do shady metaphor. I'm really good at that, actually.
You're a professional. Yeah.
I'm a professional. Yes. Yes. Even though not everyone reads my novels. And not everyone
Apologize
has
for
to, but it's.
I will try them. I will.
You don't
promise to
have
try
to
them.
read it, but you don't. I don't like people pretend that
I-
they read them. That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm
Aramis,
saying.
Fanara, you may be noticing a slightly different dynamic between the two of them. As this is a much more, familial sort of.
I like put an arm over Gerald's shoulder and I'm like, I can introduce you to a couple of ladies' reading clubs.
Oh God.
In
Raised
case you
eyebrow.
want to leap ahead in your knowledge of different fictions.
Well,
Yeah. Anyway, I'm coding that.
Too much
in-
social calendar.
yeah.
Too much social calendar for you, Gerald. I understand.
I mean,
And I'm like
I have
teasingly
Reach.
put him aside.
I get a glance. I think I there's a very quick just taking in the room, taking in the other people's reactions, and like
You get the sense that I approve, but that also I want to take the piss out of you both.
yeah, I'm gonna like take in that like I'm last to know type in this, and everyone else
Aramis
is informed, and
is smiling into his cup, but he's very happy. He's definitely not doing any of the
He's being
teasing.
much more polite.
Yes, he's much more polite. He's very pleased by this development.
Yeah, I think
mean,
Zara gives him
Aramis,
a
if you want
wink.
to say something, you can
Nice.
say it now.
Boys take their
Get
time.
over
They get there in the
get
end.
it over with.
Message written, you
Message
can quickly have it as a drop off, and we won't have to spend a moment on that. I think probably it's better for us to think of next move.
Yeah. I'm really interested in the theater angle. Sorry. But that's mainly because I always wanted to get into the theater, so that might be a very selfish thing for me to investigate. But still,
Well, did you ever explore your interest? Do you know people?
I know people everywhere. I mean, I'm a writer and a journalist, and as you said, there are book clubs.
There are book clubs.
I also,
think-
I mean, I have started to write a play. It's not quite finished, but
Excellent cover.
Mhm.
So it's selfish, but also it works.
Mhm.
Very well. Hopefully there will be some names that fall out of that particular hat.
Or maybe I can cross investigate the whole thing with Crash and Sebastian and whatever the third name was that I have forgotten.
Lorelei.
Lorelei. Oh my God. Yeah, that sounds like a theater name for sure.
Yep. Let's see. Do I know off the top of my head where some of the best theaters in Spire operate? Some of the best ones where there's maybe some mixing of classes available.
All right. Yes, you would know that first off, in a lot of cases for the higher end, like the Alfear will bring productions to be done at their homes.
Damn.
Yeah, that's the sort of thing. It's brought in as an entertainment. But then other for the masses sort of things, there is usually a theater in most of the neighborhoods where things will cycle through, almost like a vaudeville sort of feel of something will come in and then it'll move to a different neighborhood. But those are throughout the Spire, because that's, a major entertainment. And you have different types of art that you have. You have your idols, as the class that are out there, making art in various ways. But you also have, like, the Elfir have skalds that they, become warrior poets. They have a whole thing for their sort of art. But there's a much more general, that bawdy vaudevillian style theater that circulates everywhere. So you could connect into theater people in nearly any neighborhood.
Is there any kind of venue where this play we get the quote from would be played?
That is a bit more highbrow. That would have been something that would be up amongst the highfalutin, or would be in very nicely established theaters that are a bit up Spire, even for Drow. It would be somewhere in, like, Ivory Row, or done for places like that.
Okay, that seems like you would need. But is there some sort of fluidity between the performers or something? Like, you have performers who go through the vaudeville stuff, but also are in the more highbrow, maybe not performers, but the people that are the directors or the other people who hang around theater.
Well, yeah, there would be. You have a lot of troops. There's a lot of the troop style, so they would carry an act around, and then you would have, like, actual residency theaters. Those bigger theaters I'm talking about, where you get up to Gold Row and Ivory Row and all those sort of places. You'll have an actual residence theater where they would have directors and they would have people that come in and audition, but they have regular casts, that sort of thing. And it has that, I think, very kind of like Shakespearean era of theater, where you have someone who writes and directs for a troupe. They might have a residential theater, and then you'd have actors who work their way through the circuit to make money when they're not cast in one of those. So it's a nicely fluid thing. All of the theater people probably know each other.
Okay, that doesn't need to be a disadvantage, though.
No, and if you're worried about this search sprawling out of control, map those theaters close to where there have been murders from the Swan.
And also, I mean, it might be too much to hope for, but are any of these troops playing the minister's daughter?
Oh,
Something to discover.
Well, why don't we have?
should be easy. These are announced, actually, I believe, in the Gazettes, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Theater production, so that should be easy enough to find out.
I think so too. Why don't we just do and this can kind of reflect us talking and maybe taking a little, we had this all on the table, so we could kind of play a little with time here. If somebody would like to do and investigate, and I guess this is commerce. I think commerce, high society, or low society would all work with different focuses of what you would get from them. As in, low society, you're probably going to be getting that vaudeville or bawdy. Commerce would be more the business of the theaters, and high society would be these very aloof, the ones that are going off to the Alfir's houses. And we could take, if people feel like they could take different spots there to get different information.
In that case, I would go for the low society because that's where I roll for now.
Okay.
Can
So
I help with the high society part of that investigation?
yeah, I think then we might could get a broader scope out of this one roll. That seems a lovely idea. So one for investigate, one for free, one for low society, and one for the help with high society.
Whee!
If anybody feels like they know commerce, they could throw in there and we might get a big absolute. Now, this will then put us into an all or nothing situation, but
I'll hold back for now.
cool.
See how that goes. Yeah, there's a 10.
Nice. You find in the low society bit, there is a tumbling team known as Sebastian and Lorelei.
Okay. That is kind of better than I hoped for.
They are currently working one of the, I mean, you got a 10. You find that they are working at the moment at a theater in St. Predidia's Circle, which is right there in y'all's neighborhood. You also find that our play that was mentioned, which I'm going to, somebody remind me of it again.
Minister's Daughter.
The Minister's Daughter, that's it. That it has been considered to be a risque, improper play for some time. The sort of play that is considered a little revolutionary, a little too for people to be seeing. So it hasn't officially been put on for some time, though certain Alfear have put it on as a, amuse-bouche for an evening. You see the play and then you come in character and you can then act out a little bit of it once the play is over. And in particular, there's one of those that is going to be put on in Amaranth tomorrow night. It's going to be on
And that's
the
Up Tower.
That is Up Tower. That's where you were previously. That is really, that is as close to as high, that is next to New Heaven as you get. That's big high up in there. It's where the council chambers are. And it's going to be put on the Street of Masks between the Street of Mass and the Spiral Gardens. So a kind of bigger house is putting it on there. And when you look into it, and this will be something to drop in, that's why I'm putting it at least a day off, it happens to be in the home of, let me check real quick. Resplendent First Light of Dawn's mansion. Which, if some of you may remember, is Swordman's former master.
Yeah, I think I would return with that information with her. Yeah. Slightly wary of sharing that. Robin's turns up.
Oh, thrilling. It's a good thing Sorden is by all accounts asleep right now.
Yes, on mission. Well, we'll need to secure invitations.
Do we want to go as invited guests or as, I don't know, sneak in as performers, fans?
Let
There'll
me
be a
see
lot
if
of
I can get us tickets.
No,
Okay.
that would be lovely. Fanara, you are a gift.
Indeed. I'm also a bill.
Oh.
Uh,
I don't know if I can pay for a ticket like that, Fanara. Sorry to say.
I suppose you'll have to owe me.
Oh well.
I
One
give-
more for the tab.
What can go wrong with that?
I give generous credit. Then I'll be on my way to arrange for that.
We also, as I say, know of a pair of acrobats that are
Mhm.
right here, only a few blocks away, performing this evening.
Oh. Yeah, let's go look at the act and maybe investigate some more. Hermits, what do you think? You've been awful quiet.
Yes, I think we should investigate Sebastian and Lorelei, although I'm curious where Kresh could be found, but still, this has fallen into our lap and we would be foolish
Point of order.
if we did not.
Kresh is almost certainly being kept as an Elfir house prisoner.
You think so?
Yes. He was signed for as a prisoner of war by an Elfir house. And my contact has a shipment that's actually going to Kresh. And I'll learn about it within the next few days.
Yeah, that's our knoll.
Mhm.
I see. Yes.
So
good.
we'll have our opportunity to either trail the shipment, sabotage the shipment, simply say its contents, as we please.
When you have the location.
Of course.
Then the other two.
The other two.
And they're deeply involved in this drag business, right?
At the very least, Gulag
Yeah.
found them interesting.
So Fanara, let's have you just real quick, because it sounds like, and we're, I want to hit here in this last half hour we have. Sounds like we as a group may want to go and deal with Sebastian Lorelei. So how about Fanara, let's have you just to see if we can get tickets, have a moment there, because I don't think it's a problem, and I don't want you to fail. So why in the world would I have you have a fictional failure there?
I was gonna trigger cut a deal.
Oh, perfect.
So I've even got I have a special skill
Fantastic.
just for this.
Then let me look on it real quick. Cut a deal, which is anyone who's anyone. Once per session, set up a beat with an NPC who can acquire pretty much anything available in Spire. It won't be free, though, and odds are they'll want a favor or a cut, too. So, who is your contact to get this invite?
Is it Miss Bouquet?
Oh, that would be lovely.
Okay.
Oh, I love it.
Okay.
So I think that, as she herself is the sort of lady who would be more than excited to go to such a thing. Are you going to go by her residence and have a chat?
Little house call.
As you arrive, her house is very attractive and in a very good neighborhood, near an Alfir neighborhood, but that distinctive street difference sort of thing. But as you come up to the door and ring the bell, you hear from inside, "One moment!" And the door, a little rubber, and a gentleman opens the door. Hello, can I help you?
And I'll, bow and take off my hat. Good afternoon. I wanted to visit the lady of the house. Is she available?
Oh, and you see him kind of think for a moment. Let me check. He kind of looks back over his shoulder, and he sees something. Yes, she is available. Please come in. I'm Richard Bucket.
Ah,
Bouquet!
pleased to meet you, Mr. Bucket.
Bouquet! Bouquet.
Oh, what ears on your wife? Excellent. I
Yes.
shake his hand.
Please, you are.
Oh, Fenara. Fenara, last name yet to be determined. Yeah, I don't have
Harry
that
Elf
yet.
here. Please, come in. Here's Hyacinth. And you see coming down a stairway, as though she hadn't been waiting for this moment, kind of grandly lounging her way down the stairs. Oh, do we have guests?
Oh, good afternoon. I'm afraid that I'm by myself today.
Oh, Miss Fenara, how lovely to see you. Richard, get us tea. Would you like tea?
That sounds lovely, thank you.
I'll be right back. And he sort of trudges, a little weary, towards the back as she reaches the bottom of the stairs and sort of twirls her little bit of drape over the top of it. Please come into my parlor. Miss Fenara, your lovely wares. I have been so enjoying the blood oranges I picked up yesterday.
Oh, excellent.
Please sit. This is my Cheswick sofa.
Ah, lovely. I'll have a seat. Well, thank you again for your purchase. You've saved me from a season of jam.
Oh, so witty. I have been using them in a lovely fresh salad.
Ah, excellent. Very light for the summer.
What has brought you to my doorstep?
Well, I've heard that there will be a showing of The Minister's Daughter.
Really?
Yes, an exclusive one at the home of Resplendent Light of Dawn himself.
She sort of gives almost like a false blush. I have heard the same thing. As it turns out, Richard and I received an invitation.
Oh, marvelous.
Richard has been doing the books for Mr. Resplendence.
Oh, has he? Well, it sounds very diligent of Richard.
He's a very diligent man.
Excellent, excellent.
He comes in with the tea set. Here you are. I'll play mother. As she reaches towards the tea set. This is wedging wood.
Oh, excellent, excellent. I'm sort of, filing through the brand Rolodex in my head and pricing out everything internally.
It comes from the wedging wood district of human lands. They do such clever things with mass production.
It is quite interesting. It does create a certain fungibility between objects, which is fascinatingly abstract.
And she pours. Would you care for sugar?
Oh, of course, please. Just 2 lumps.
Oh, drip, drip.
3 is a little excessive.
Oh, yes, I've heard. Such a risque play. I myself was a little concerned about going to see it. But Richard is so important to Mr. Resplendence that I just couldn't find myself able to say no.
Well, I hear that it's an important cultural moment, so I suspect that despite any risque elements, it'll be some kind of valuable experience. Art can be challenging sometimes.
Oh, I don't like that.
Oh, no?
Oh, no. Though things that are challenging tend to be difficult.
Well,
I myself have never seen or read the play. As you know, it is quite forbidden.
hmm,
Are you
I-
saying it's vulgar?
well, it does contain a certain amount of violent content.
Oh my.
Yes, I believe there are at least 3 murders, 4, 5
Oh,
in the
oh my
play.
goodness. That is way, way more murders than I prefer in an entertainment.
And I believe several of them are framed as justified,
Oh,
if somewhat tragic.
oh, I do like tragedy.
At the end, there's quite a great deal of suffering
Oh,
in the wake of these tragic deaths.
dear Richard, did you know this? No, Hyacinth, I didn't, dear. Well, it may not be proper that I even go.
Oh dear. Well, you don't want to insult resplendent light of dawn.
Oh, goodness, no. Oh, we couldn't do that. He would surely know if the tickets weren't used.
Well, it does so happen that I have a little free time tomorrow that I could use to preserve your reputation.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Well,
of course.
I would hate to see such a fine, upstanding businesswoman such as yourself be involved with such, oh, calamitous vulgarity.
Well, business isn't all about clean shoes, so to speak.
Oh, well, I've heard that about the trades. Well, just let me posit an idea. Perhaps if you are free and could find a companion, maybe you would be willing to go to this production?
I believe I could do that. I might have to cover my eyes through some of the more difficult parts.
Oh, I would certainly understand.
Oh, pish to that. I should bring my very fashionable fan. It's decided.
Well then, Richard, get the. And he brings out these invitations. Here you are, dear. Please, of course, if you would, mention that you saw Richard and I there, if anyone asks.
Oh, certainly.
Oh, I can't thank you enough. Oh, such things. Can you imagine? Oh, challenging, murderous, and risque.
Yes, some topics of a particularly carnal nature, I've heard.
Oh, no. I see
what
why it's forbidden.
Well, I am sure that in the company that I'll be sharing, cooler, leveler, more mature heads will be available. Treat the art as it deserves.
I cannot thank you enough, Miss Fedora. It was a true blessing that you came by.
Oh, of course, I'm always happy to help. Thank you.
I will be sure to come down to your little stall and buy some of your lovely things.
Oh, please do. Of course, I appreciate your patronage. I believe that we'll be having a few more items of old world decor and comfort soon.
Oh, I do like things that remind me of the old country. Richard's family came from the old country.
Oh, did they, Richard?
Well, in the sense that we all did. Hush, Richard! You have
Of course.
a bit more conversation. She will bring out nibbly bits. But you leave 2 invitations, the better.
Time to go buy a attractive, fashionable fan.
All right. I think then we'll pop back. I don't know if we'll get all the way through this, but I'd love to hear the setup of what we'd like to do to see Sebastian and Lorelei. I'm going to give you the quick bits of information that the 4 of you together are easy able to connect. Little theater here inside of let me pull back down my map. Yes. On St. Perdidia's Circle, which here I'll even share our map. That's always fun. It lets folks at home see our map. If I can find where it is. There we go. No, that's not it either. Oh, where are you? Oh, there we go. All right. So here in St. Perdidia's Circle, which is where y'all live, appears the North Docks, where the Kraken Bell is. And as a matter of fact, I think right around here is where the Kraken Bell is. We're going to say it's in a nice spot. We're going to say it's over here near where these dice are in this little area there. You know that there's a little theater there. They're going to be part of the acts for one of these variety kind of vaudevillian type shows. You can also, because y'all are very well connected, have found out that the troops that are performing are staying in a boarding house just over here. So right around there is where the boarding house is. Right around this little jut out is where the theater is. They will be performing this evening and for evenings. The next 3 or 4 days. Would y'all, as y'all come together to discuss this, do you wish to go to the show? Do you wish to try to go to their boarding house? What would y'all like to do?
Going to the show may attract less attention.
I have
if anyone is watching.
have a rules question here. How do bonds work?
Bonds are like what Fenara did with her cousin. You go in and you can get a favor out of someone. You'll roll with the bond, and what happens there, rather than taking stress on one of your stats, it will stress the bond, which can have fallout. Like a minor would be they want something in return. A major would be you get them in trouble and they get killed.
Oh no. Okay, I'm just checking. Maybe someone could use a bond to get into the boarding house somehow?
That's not a bad idea at all. I feel we should hit both fronts. I could see Fenara mixing in very well at the performance. It's an easy excuse for you to be there to cover it, but also Daryl might be best deployed at a social event like that. I'm happy to investigate.
A costume for it.
I'm sure you could find such if you don't. And I'm happy to investigate the boarding house.
All right.
With whomever does not attend.
Seems fine. I'm happy to go to this performance. I should warm up before I go to, and I flash my tickets.
Wow. You are, as I said, you are a wonder, Fanara.
I do think
Go.
none of us should go alone.
Agreed. I'm a little worried if somebody went to the boarding house by themselves.
Mhm.
Agreed.
No, I would like to go to the show, but if you need me at the boarding house, I'm fine with going there.
Go enjoy the show. I think
One
it's
day
perfect company.
we'll have enough time that we can get you into social situations. Like where you are yourself.
Why would we do such a thing?
Entertainment value?
This was more a me and him thing, Armis.
I see. I see. Wonderful.
Well, sounds like then we have Fanara and Vizar going to see the performance, while Gerald and Aramitz may be going by the boarding house. And so the two of you split. Now, if you're planning to go to the boarding house while the performance is going on, that means they should be gone, giving you a chance
Right.
to check it out without them there. Is that the intent? Or were you trying to get there and get them or something?
Les Gerald had ideas
chance.
otherwise, I think.
I mean, a chance to look over
Right.
their stuff and, find out why their name was on the list.
Right.
Well,
like,
yeah,
is there
confront them
suspicious
could be
stuff?
useful. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I know that Fanara's eyes will be like, are particularly interesting people visiting them before and or after the performance? What's going on? What's things look like?
Perfect.
Right.
All right. So I think our two going into the performance, it's a raucous crowd. There's drinks. Again, it's that very vaudeville feel. So we've got a big stage. We got folks drinking. There's some tables, and then there's people right there at the stage. And as you come in and you're kind of giving a look around, you can scope out. There's an entranceway to the backstage for the performers. You're both well enough aware that there will be, a green room and dressing rooms and all the backstagey things. And then up front we have a bar. They have like little prepackaged sort of foods that you can eat. And as you come in, they're starting performances going on. It will go on. It's a long entertainment. You come in, pay your money. There's 4 hours of entertainment. And you see there are comedians and dancers and singers. There are people who come up and do poetry. And so for the first couple of hours, it's entertaining. It certainly is very entertaining. And people are drinking. You could have a few drinks of your own. Is there an intent to go backstage, or are you just wanting to kind of wait to start with to see them?
Nah, I'm a reporter. I'm reporting.
I'm going to need to step away for a quick
Yeah.
bio break, but I'm going to be listening.
Okay.
I mean, then maybe go ahead with the boarding
Okay.
house.
We'll scoot over to boarding house then. You arrive at this boarding house, and it has a little sign out front: rooms for writ, actors welcome. And
I think Aramitz, as we both look at that sign, Aramitz will say, very low rent place.
I'm going to scope out the place, see if there's any entrance windows that don't look too difficult to access.
You are in
without drawing
a
attention.
close enough press of like buildings and stuff. You could see where you could easily scale up, and there are certainly windows that are left open to catch whatever bit of fresh air and breeze you can down here.
Aramitz, I trust your hunting skills aren't too rusty. And glance up at one of the second or third floor windows.
I see that you're an upstairs man. Yes, I'm sure we can figure that out. Don't think I'm too rusty.
All right. How about we do this as the two of you together? So one of you can take lead, one of you can help. It's going to be a sneak and low society.
Okay.
So where do we feel our, well, let's see, our crime. That would also work.
Oh, I don't have any. I really should have more crime.
How did you not get crime? You're like the poster draw for crime. I mean, not organized crime, but skillful crime. I think let's have Aramitz show off some of his huntery skills and you assist, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Sweet.
All right. So it sounds like 4 dice.
Yep.
And I think Shadow is what we are dealing with here.
Oh wow. I got a 10.
Gerald, you are highly impressed with Aramitz making scaling it easily, giving you, when you kind of give a little slip, a little hand of, and slipping into the window there. I think
You definitely get like a look of appreciation, and I am adjusting my view of you slightly.
Sweet. I'm all about that. That sounds fun.
You come into a window in a hall and checking a couple of the doors, you could see where they have like a little paper, something they slide paper in that gives the names of who the rooms are for. And as you go down the hallway, you see a couple of names until you come to Sebastian and Lorelei. The door is locked, but Gerald, it's really no difficulty for you to jimmy a lock.
Yeah, I just get on most basic.
And it's just a boarding house, so it's not like it's fantastically secure as the door opens. You see there is a large, king size, roughly, bed. The room is quite neat. The people here have their things well stored in the little wardrobe that's open there.
I do check the door though, in case anyone's put a hair or an item that would show disturbance of the door, because these people might.
Let's have you roll that then.
Danger.
Let's have you roll a deceive plus crime.
I don't have crime, so I do have deceive, and I got it twice. So does that mean
you have mastery?
Difference? I mean, mastery, or does that?
You have
enough to have a knack in it, but not one that's relevant to this situation.
You have mastery just off the bat?
No, I mean I've received deceived twice, so I don't know if that counts as mastery or it's just I've got a knack.
You've got a knack of disguise on fly.
Yeah, which isn't relevant to
correct.
This,
yeah. So no.
No. That's. So do I just have 2 dice then?
2 dice.
I'll help.
All right. You now have 3 dice. And I think again we're looking at shadow as the potential problem.
Oh, and I think when you start to look for the hair, I realize, oh, you do read Bazaar's novels. I remember when he had written about this trick. Yes. That is where you got this, right? This idea.
Well, maybe the other way around. I
see.
I blush slightly and I rolled an 8.
Nice.
All right, good show. You do see where they had put up, rather than a hair, you see that there is a carefully laid spider web.
Oh, wow.
I just reach and just gently hook the web with a fingertip, kind of reattach it out of the way of the door for the moment, and apologies, I say. Either.
Nicely done. As I say, fairly neat. It has the feel of a place that is a temporary lodging. But looking through, there is one thing that is notable that they put up clearly themselves. It is a poster for a play. It is called Into the Spider's Web. But it has this rather handsome drow man on the front, and you see he's kind of gesturing broadly, and in between his hands are these spider webs. And underneath it, it says, starring Callisto Brox. And as you go over it, kind of are looking at it, you could see that this poster, this broadsheet that is there, has been very carefully, there's a backing to it. It is very well cared for, almost pristine still up there. Looking through the room, you see their costumes, you see some of the equipment for their acrobats act. And opening up the bedside table, you could see that they have a couple of books of various plays. Now might be a moment where we'll roll and investigate. Again, kind of you could do it together here. If you, I think, might be the best way.
What domain? Because neither of us have investigate.
Academia. Probably academia.
Yeah,
Y'all are hurting on this one, ain't you?
This is we're not made for this. And the one, like, well, there are a few, but the one about
no one's
Spire,
going to find us while we're doing whatever we're doing.
It's not like we can buy this stuff. It's like it's if you don't start with it, it's really hard to get some of these domains and skills.
Yeah, it can be.
Mm.
Okay. Then probably not wise to roll it. Instead, I'll give you the
roll it anyway.
Huh? You could.
We've come all this way.
All right. Well, with the help, you'll have 2 dice. You will go down by 1 factor in your roll because you have no skill in it.
I mean,
Go for it.
who does the roll though?
I fear the sneaky. I think you should.
So when we go down by 1 level, do we roll 2 and then discard the highest?
No, if you roll a 10, it'll count as a 9 or 8. Yeah, it takes it down a factor.
Yeah, okay. Keep an eye on the door.
Of course.
Got 2 9s.
Oh, Limier's
Very,
favor
very
upon us.
good. All right, so 8 to 9 goes down to a 6 to 7. You will take stress on this, however. So both of you, Rich, why don't you roll me a D3?
All righty. I'm going to roll a D6 and cut it in half.
All right. And in this case, we're going against mind. as we will discover why in just a moment.
Of course, I roll a 6. Yay!
You will take 3 mind, so put that into
damn.
your box. As looking through the books, the plays, you could see where certain lines, they have been underlined in the play. And at the front of each play, you can see there is like a key, like a code key. Like it'll give a page, line, number on it, and then beside it will be a word, and then a page, line, and a word. So you figure that this is someone, if you've got a message, you would, go through your whatever to figure out what the message was by going page, line in each play. Might be some help. Good. I'm sorry. Alex, I will hit you right here then with the ending for y'all's thing is, as you looked at this, you push aside the mattress, and that is when you find the small box that is hidden underneath it. And when you open it, inside you find a heart.
Oh, snap.
And that's where we will end, and that's where our mind damage came from.
Should I be rolling or as well for this?
No,
I
you'll
think we both got it.
Yeah,
I
you
think
both got the 3.
I just rolled
so I got
terribly
3 as
for
well.
both of us.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Is it still beating?
You put it half.
No.
Remind
I will
me.
see you next week, Alex.
You guys.
Bye.
And we will do our folks on the theater here, and then we'll probably bring her to a close. But if we could give me 3 minutes, because I too need to run to the restroom.
Maybe let's make it 5 and then everyone can.
Sounds lovely. Let's. So back in the theater, Bizarre, you say you were wanting to. Are you doing a critics review, or are you moving about?
I'm doing
Talking to
interview.
folks?
I'm talking to people. Basically, I'm a reporter and I want to write a piece about this, but I'm not sure about the angle. I cannot pronounce this word properly. About the angle that I'm going to take. So I'm interviewing everyone, the performers, of course, if they are willing to be written about in a moderately famous gazette by a moderately known writer. So
Excellent. Okay. Is your intent then to maybe get backstage to talk with some of the people, or are you trying to find out some information as you're doing this?
I mean, I have so many I have so many moves or whatever they're called, abilities for that,
Mm-hmm.
I have the nose for trouble. If you can find what's out of place, you can find the story. So I can look for stuff that's weird or out of place. And I also have the thorough investigator. No, I don't need that now. No, I think I'm going with the nose for trouble.
Yeah, trust me as well.
Yeah, but that means mostly that I have the deceive skill. Of course, I can convince them to trust me against their better judgment, but mostly I'm interested in finding out something weird or out of place, right? Because that's what we're looking for. We're looking for the drag thing, right?
I will point out with that trust me though, to think about just to have up there, that temporary bond would be something that you could use, like, if you were talking to the manager of the theater and later on you wanted to get back in, or it's all that's, those temporary bonds are worth remembering.
Yeah. I mean, I might do that, but I don't want to hog all the spotlight here.
Oh, so. No. I was just pointing out what that is. So wanting to do that nose for trouble?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So what's weird or out of place here? I think as you're going around it, you're getting all these great interviews, people talking about the pieces that they like, and you'll have like the stage manager who's talking to you about, what it is to make sure that these acts all have what they want, and maybe you're even leaning a little towards Sebastian and Lorelei a little in this. Well, we were fairly lucky to get such a renowned pair. They have performed in front of Alfir. They have performed all across the Spire. Well, as I say, we were lucky. They came into town and had great recommendations. We wouldn't normally be able to get performers of their sort, but they were willing to even take less than the normal amount. They were very excited to play here.
Where did they come from?
I believe that their last performance was up in the on the Ivory Row. Supposedly they performed for, and I'm sorry, I'm having to flip through a page. I should have that open. I apologize. Having trouble finding where are we at? Oh, okay, there we go. They were playing on the Ivory Row for Lady Theron Thorns on Silk.
And just who's that?
I'm
assume since he said that like we are supposed to know who that is, I will assume that we know who that is.
The name you don't recognize, but he will follow up with such a well-known owner of so much property on the Ivory Row. She is quite a connoisseur of fine arts.
What was her name, Lady?
Theron, Theryn, Thorns on Silk.
Thorns on Silk. Okay, that is okay.
O-N, not O-W-N. I'm sorry.
O-N. Thorns on Silk now. Okay, sorry.
She is, her recommendation alone would get them into any theater, and the fact that they were willing to come here and perform for our rather small theater and for such a lesser price, but they have been magnificent.
Yeah, and I will make some small talk about artists and but I think that was the salient point here, and I will then ask when we're away from this person that I've just talked to, Fonara, have you heard of this, Theron?
You would have heard. She is a major landlord of Ivory Row.
Yeah, and I'll go into that. Say, yeah, she's big money. She's also big secure money. Once you engage in that much land ownership.
So why would she recommend these two?
Probably for their talents, perhaps a history of sexual favors. There's any number of reasons.
Yeah, I'm thinking conspiracy here.
Fonara, what have you been doing during this time?
Helping myself to snacks, just mingling with other people who are spectating. Since I didn't want to get in Vizar's way if he was going to do any backstage shenanigans.
Gotcha.
But yeah, anybody who seems game to gab, I'll just be like, man, this is always so delightful, but I always wonder, as a business venture, what is it like to manage talent?
You will hear a few folks who are, oh, it would be the most wonderful life. And then you actually find someone in the know. It's terrible. Actors are all idiots. They never listen. I can't stand the lot of them. But if you're wanting to hire some, I have 6 on retainer at the moment.
Oh, I see.
Yes, I've been in acting talent management for decades. Personally, I find them repulsive and the theater a waste of time. But if you really are interested in putting on a show, I've got a singer and a dancer. It would entertain anybody. The dead would hop up and tap a toe.
Do you have a business card that I might keep?
Absolutely. Here you go. And,
excellent.
Hands you over Simon Shyster.
Simon, you seem to have quite a pool of tenacity then.
It's a terrible job that I have, honestly. I really regret ever going into the field, but it pays the bills. And as you're kind of chatting with him, you hear someone kind of behind you go, oh, I think they're coming up next. Oh, and kind of looking back and listening, you'll hear, I've been here both nights they performed. It's absolutely transformative. I've never known anything that was like this. Oh, Sebastian and Lorelei are the greatest talents we've ever seen. Sort of thing going on as the MC comes out. Everyone, hello! I know you're here to see this famous duo coming from high upon Spire, right down here for your entertainment. Enjoy. Sebastian and Lorelei. And the lights. Yeah.
Can I join up with Fanara for the act?
Oh, certainly. Yeah, I think that's when you come back and the two of you are there as the lights sort of change. Well, they've had these beige lights that are shining up off mirrors, and it's been this kind of yellowy white light on stage. But those lights start to drop, and from above, you're getting this reddish light. And we see 2 silken ropes or silken ribbons.
They're literally called silks.
Yeah, dropping from the ceiling on the stage and then working their way down, twirling. We see 2 people, 2 drow, in these very tight bodysuits of scarlet red. And as they begin intertwining with each other, as they ride these silks and twirl up and around and coming in closer to each other in this sort of dance that's a little erotic, a little almost S&M sort of binding, as one of them will be kind of almost trussed up in these as the other works around them, and then that position changes, and it is really pretty overwhelming to watch the intricacies of what they're doing. I need both of you to roll me a resist plus occult or religion.
This is going to go well for me.
And we'll be going against mine.
I've got occult at least. So I get 2 dice, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And you have neither, Fanara?
That is correct.
All right. Roll your 1.
7.
All right. And how did you do, Bizarre?
We'll see. Yeah, I'll roll the 10.
Oh, lucky boy for Czar.
Wow.
All right, Bizarre, it really is pretty amazing to watch. It is a truly exquisite performance. But Fanara, first off, let's have you take roll me a d6. It's going to mind.
3.
Or D3. I'm sorry, D3 is
All
that
right.
half,
So
yeah.
2.
2 points to mind. As in their dance, you can feel this lust rising in you. This sort of, the excitement, the thrill. You feel like the sweat come across you. But it's a cruel sort of excitement. Like finding pleasure from others' pain is the waves that are coming at you. And it, there's a thrill to it as you feel it, very viscerally. And as they twirl and intertwine, I'm going to cut for a moment to Aramitz and Gerald opening this box. Within, they see this bloody heart.
Awesome.
What do you say, Aramitz, as this opens?
I wonder if this belongs to our minister friend, or if it's another victim.
The heart thump, moves. It beats once, and you can see in that beat a red mist, a face, terrifying, horrible, a demon straight from the abyss, staring up at you.
I quickly do the sign of, not the cross, but like the sign of Limier. Let me grasp the moonlight and pull it to myself for protection, because that is pretty damn freaky.
Do you pull a moonlight?
I mean, yeah, I think that's what I would do.
Yeah.
I would use moonlight. Limier's light shines forth from you. Your forehead gem glows as brightly as the full moon, casting a calm light into the darkness that cannot be extinguished. Yeah, that's a thing.
As the light shines out from you, this demonic face laughs and coalesces, shooting forward across you and Gerald. The light around you seems to fight against it. There's this smell of rot and decay as both of you kind of reach to your head. On the stage, the two of them twirl down the silks to land in a split on the stage itself. The crowd goes crazy, screaming, and they begin throwing money. They're throwing possessions they have towards the stage, and you see one of the people in the crowd reach up to their hair and rip out a clump and throw it to the stage as they are screaming, these people in this ecstasy. And your light, Aramitz, grows brighter as the heart disintegrates into nothing in the box. But you hear that demonic laugh as it carries away. And that's where we'll stop.
spooky.
Yeah.
Ermich, you have encountered your first Eidolon.
Great.
Well, I hope that was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was a hell of a show. Bravo.
Just one question. I mean, I was about to ask if there was any magic involved, and I imagine that I might have a feeling that yes, there was.
I think maybe because you rolled so well and see these people acting like this, you've seen idols perform before, and they're able to do things like this.
Oh.
But generally, idols work in very strict emotional things they do. Like if it were lust, you would see people getting lusty. This seems a perversion of anything you've seen an idol do.
Okay. Oh. I feel I need to go somewhere where I can roll investigate at academia or investigate an occult, but not today.
Not today. Well, gang, I don't know. Want to give a quick stars of wishes? We feel like that? Sure. Let's do one then. I'll just go clockwise around from me. Shin. Any stars? We'll do stars first, and we'll come back for some wishes.
Oh, all right. Stars. This isn't fair of me, but creepy, spooky, like it. Yeah, there's things afoot, foul. I liked that. I liked seeing more of the Gerald and Vizar awkward train, but you know, there's a new car on the awkward train, so to speak. So it's good. It's good. I enjoyed the return to see Miss Bouquet.
I'm glad you did that.
Yep, I was just like, why not? Let's have a nice comedy relief scene. It's fine. And yeah, nope, enjoyable game. Details were good.
Thank you very much. Sabine, any stars?
Yeah, sure. Lots of stars. I liked this one. I like the whole stuff going on with Gerald, obviously. That was a lot of fun. I also like the group scenes where we are all talking to each other. That was also, I always like it when we're all in a room and everybody can say things to each other. That's kind of nice. And yeah, I liked Fonara and Miss Bucket. One quick question, Tyler. Could we change maybe the first name of her husband's, because I have a real disconnect if NPCs have the same first names as players.
We absolutely can. And probably if we encounter them again, I will have somebody different. I'm literally just taking it from the Keeping Up Appearances.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, and I like the way Vizar and Aramitz went into that place and encountered that tart and it beat. See, I asked. So I like the whole creepiness about the whole thing, and thank you.
Awesome. Thank you very much. And Rich, stars.
Star to Vizar for Sabine as Vizar, not only acting on, but like remembering, hey, this is an Aramitz conversation. That was really nice. I appreciate that little hat tip. That was made me feel pretty wonderful. The Fonara scene with what's her name, like the fop, was just great. Really, really funny. Quite liked it. And I enjoyed Alex's reaction to Vizar's revelation, going from clueless to like engaging it that was really interesting to see. I thought that was quite interesting. So that was good. And Tyler, you're a creepy mofo. I can't do what you do, and it's nice to sit here and enjoy it and watch it. It's cool. Good stuff.
Awesome. Thank you very much. And I'll just say stars across the board. I thought everything was awesome. Jen, or let's go back the other way, I guess. Rich, any wishes?
Wish for a whole session of Alex. A wish for Jan to return. There you go. The easy ones, the low-hanging fruit.
Don't blame me. I tried so hard to do my time right so I could get that finale in with Alex here, and just got away from me.
No, you got it. It was good.
Bizarre. Or, I'm sorry, Sabine.
I want to see more Aramis next time, because I felt he had very little screen time, and I like usually listening to him being wise and sorry, English defeats me today. But wise is basically wise and solid. Yeah. And also I want to be there sometimes when somebody has to roll academia. Damn it.
I know, you're just academic.
Yeah, I know that. I know this stuff. I've been in the library for too many years of my life, but
I've read for a living.
yes. And I also want to have a last name, but that I will think about that in the next week.
Awesome. Thank you very much. And Jen, any wishes?
Clearly, I also wish for a last name. I will definitely forget, and then maybe we'll address it in a rush at the beginning of next session. Goodness, I'm waiting for my little plotter brain to be like, here is a plan, Jen. You could try it. So I'm wishing for those threads to connect in my brain. But I like where things have continued to sort of swirl around as that's forming up. So there's lots of fun details, lots of exciting developments, and seconding Rich, of course, that, you know, I want Jan back, and I want to see a bit more full Gerald for a session.
Mm-hmm. For my wishes, thank you very much, Jen. Its field has this interesting feel that it is hard to get new skills and domains. And I don't know if the game is making, having it at spots where people just aren't rolling things they're solid at. We ended up rolling well on things we weren't solid at, which is interesting. Last time we'd said, let the dice be harder on us. And even when I give y'all horrible chances, y'all still rolled well. So, I think it's fun to see folks a little out of their character's comfort space. But it is interesting to have someone who's doing their good thing up there as well. But I also wish that we had Jan, and we look forward to having him next time. And I feel like our threads of this story, we are closing in on stuff. We are discovering things, and the net is getting tighter on our quarry. So I think y'all are doing a fantastic job of this. And, mystery is always a little, it can be a little difficult, but I think we're going at it in a really nice way where it's jumping into stuff and seeing things, and it's unspooling in a nice direction. So we have a lot of chances. We've moved closer and closer to a lot of chances to nab some things. So I had a blast. I hope y'all did too. I look forward to next week, and I will turn it back over to you, Rich.
Thanks everybody for watching. Thanks for playing. I can't wait for some more Spire, but we unfortunately have to 1 week, and we will continue this thing.